I got a job while I was in high school. It was with a friend of my father. I put away most of it and bought some stuff I wanted, but my parents wouldn't buy it for me. My parents aren't wealthy, but they're well enough off. They wanted me to appreciate that material goods were paid for with my time. I didn't mind. I bought myself a PS4 and some games, which they made me share with my younger brother and sister. Once again, I didn't mind. I mostly played while they did homework or slept. They said I had to start paying rent when I graduated from high school. That sucked because I was going to university in the fall and I was hoping to save up over the summer so I could work less during the school year. So I worked my butt off in school and at work. I ended up getting a job loading delivery trucks before school, and that sucked because I went to sleep at 7 p.m. most nights so I could get up early and go to work. I'm about to graduate and have found a job in another province. I've already started doing my onboarding and online training. I will go from graduation to loading my car to leave. My parents had a graduation party for me where they tried to present me with a check for all the rent I paid plus a pittance in interest. I looked at the check for about a minute and started laughing. All I could think of was the fact that I had no social life during university because I was working. I didn't have any money in investments like my friends did because they were taking my money. I asked them how they were doing this for my sister. They said they weren't since she was working while she went to school. I tore up the check and told them to shove it up their butts. I told them that I would speak to them again when they compensated me for all the sleep I lost, 4 years of no social life during university, and 4 summer vacations. I told my little brother not to get a job or they would screw him over too. I went to my room and grabbed my computer, some clothes, my PS4 and my toiletries. My brother and sister can play on the PS5 my parents bought the family. They were yelling at me the whole time. I said if they touched me or tried to stop me I would call the cops. I loaded up my car, which I paid for, which I insure and is registered to me. I drove to my friend's parents' house and had a bit of a breakdown. They let me stay there since she's away at university in another city. I blocked my parents and my brother and sister. I'd already given notice at my job, so I called my boss and told him I was sick and wouldn't be available for my last week. He said he understood and laughed. He said he was surprised I kept working this close to graduation. My grandfather called to talk to me a couple of days later. We went to Timmy's and he let me unload everything I felt. They took money from me that I could have used to make my life better. I didn't even have time for a girlfriend. My entire university romantic life was hooking up with a woman I worked with when her ex-husband had the kids for the weekend. He said my parents' hearts were in the right place and that they thought they were helping me. I said they owed me 4 years of fun, of parties I was too tired to go to, of social events and networking I didn't do, all the crap they were subsidizing for my sister, and that they would end up subsidizing for my brother. He said he understood and hugged me. He's old, but I couldn't have gotten free of that hug if I'd tried. He asked me if I needed money to start my new job. I said I didn't want anything that came from my parents. He gave me a cashier's check for about 3 times what my parents took from me. He said to use it however I wanted in my new life. He said it wasn't part of my inheritance or anything. It was a gift from him and something my grandma would have wanted me to have. My friends think I was stupid to tear up the check. Most of them agree with me about being angry at my parents. Some family called me to say I behaved terribly and owe my parents an apology. I thanked them for the call or message and blocked them. I'm calmer now and I do not think I'm wrong, but maybe I'm too close to see what I'm missing. Am I the idiot for telling my parents to keep all the money they stole from me while I was in university and shove it up their butt? Not the idiot. They saw that the lifestyle they forced on you was killing you for years and did nothing, and they waited to do it at a party they hosted so they could get full credit as great parents too. The fact that they never intend to pull this crap on your sister reeks of bias. OP, you were the test child. I presume you're the oldest. They thought they were instilling the values of hard work into you, saw that it was horrid and harmful, and decided not to do it to your 2 younger children but not to correct you. As you've pointed out yourself, the money they gave you isn't worth what you could have gotten out of investing it, on top of being able to actually buy yourself things. Heck, chances are they weren't planning to give it back to you initially. They actively harmed you here, cost you money, opportunities such as networking, opportunities such as developing friendships, maybe finding your future wife, and much more. I once heard the first child referred to as the burnt pancake. Spot on. Dude, the worst thing is they think they were helping you. They want to take credit for who you have become, yet it was you who did it. Bravo to you and congrats on graduating and starting this new journey of your life. I hope it's everything you want and more. Good luck. My brother has been pushing me to get closer to his girlfriend Mary, together 3 months. I've done my best to get to know her, initiating dinners, trying her hobbies with her, etc., but we honestly don't really get along. I personally think she's a snob. She complimented my designer bag but took the compliment back when she found out it was thrifted, as in literally said, "Yikes, I'd take that back." In contrast, she thinks I lack culture and sophistication, also something she's mentioned when trying to convince me to do a makeover with her. The issue is that I'm getting married this year, and my brother has been really trying to get her involved. I put my foot down with the bridal party since they've only been dating for 3 months and I don't know her, but he insisted that I invite her to the bachelorette. It was initially supposed to be super low-key and local. Mary tried to push for something more extravagant, but it wasn't in my budget. When I wouldn't budge, she told us something came up that weekend and she couldn't go. I was later surprised by my friends who had come together to organise a lavish weekend through favours and points, e.g. one of my friend's aunts works for a spa so she was able to get discounted packages, another used her travel points to book a suite, etc. I was not told about this and was truly and happily surprised. The issue is that Mary found out when we posted pictures and she was angry. My brother said I deliberately left her out, but she told me she was busy. Mary said that if she'd known what the weekend was like, though, she would have rearranged her schedule. I feel conflicted because I suspect my friends didn't tell Mary on purpose, but they claim they made these plans after Mary bowed out and didn't reach back out since she was busy. My brother still says I should have double-checked and made more effort to let Mary know about my plans. Not the idiot, your brother needs to back off. You don't need to be his snooty girlfriend's bestie. You extended an invitation to your bachelorette, but she declined the invitation, feigning she had other plans. Your friend surprised you with a spa weekend. This situation falls into the category of not your problem. If Miss Snooty Patootie's schedule was too busy for a night at Dave & Buster's, she's still too busy for a spa weekend. Your brother is delusional if he thinks his girlfriend matters to anyone but him. Right? In other words, Mary is saying, I don't care about you enough to rearrange to celebrate you, but I do care about me having a good time enough to figure out scheduling so that I can have a good time for me. That's the whole essence of it all. I can't wait to read the bridezilla stories about Mary's successful attempt to get her brother to propose to her at Opie's wedding, of course. Your brother is missing all of the red flags in this woman. He needs to run. If she couldn't spend time with his sister low-key, she's not invested in his family. You don't owe her a single thing. Hopefully he'll break up with her, and he'll be grateful he doesn't have to see her in any of your wedding photos. My husband and I have been married for 6 years and we have 2 kids together. He also has 2 kids with his ex-wife. My stepkids were both under 2 when their parents divorced. I met my husband roughly 2 years after his divorce and we got married after being together for 2 years. Currently my stepkids are male and female tweens and my boys are preschooler and a toddler. So here's the deal. My stepkids do not acknowledge my children as siblings, not half-siblings or just siblings. Now I know relationships cannot be forced and there are people who view step or half-siblings as lesser siblings, but it did come as a big surprise to me when they denied my kids as siblings and only acknowledged each other. They don't view me as a parent, but that's okay because generally they are respectful and well-behaved. It was hard to hear the kids say they didn't have more siblings or outright deny the boys. I know age gaps can play a role too, but I know there are siblings with age gaps who still manage to be close and acknowledge each other while young. What I didn't know until a few weeks ago is my husband's ex-wife has a very negative view of stepfamily and half-siblings and has been vocal about this since my husband met her, and she raised my stepkids hearing about how half isn't an actual sibling or stepfamily isn't a real family. She's rejected her own half-siblings and refuses a relationship with them because they don't share the same dad. She sees her stepdad, who came into her life when she was 5, as the body her mom sleeps with and nothing more. She doesn't believe in stepfamilies or second marriages, no matter what the circumstances. She's remained single since the divorce because of this, apparently. My husband never gave me this info, though. He just tried to secretly counter it with my stepkids. I only found out because my stepdaughter had a dance recital we all attended and we ended up sitting next to my stepkid's mom. At some point, someone said something. I'm not sure if it was my stepson or my husband, but she told my husband and stepson that my boys aren't their siblings, so what's the big deal? I was shocked and she noticed. She told me I wasn't part of this either. I was nothing to her kids. She told me my husband always knew where she stood on that and she wouldn't apologize for it. After the recital, he admitted to me that he knew about it and suspected there was a very good chance the kids would feel the same as her because of how long she'd shared these views with them. I told them that it was very unfair to me and to our 2 boys not to share this before we got married. I told him that's the kind of information that should be shared. I brought up how I know personally what rejection can feel like. He said it wasn't something he could change, so he didn't see why I was blaming him, and I told him because that's the kind of thing you mention to someone you want to add to your family. He told me I was being unreasonable. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She really set you up to fail to get those kids to bond, and your husband hid that influence from you. I'm sorry you have to deal with this, and I hope it doesn't breed resentment in your younger boys that their older siblings don't acknowledge them. I'm not making excuses for the ex's behaviour. Still, I definitely wonder what happened when her stepfather joined their family that made her have such an extreme aversion to step-parents and step-siblings, etc. Step-families can go very wrong if the parents don't handle the adjustment correctly, or if a stepchild is mistreated and their birth parent doesn't intervene. OP, imagine you have a time machine and you go back 4 years and he tells you this a week or 2 before the wedding. What are you doing with that information? Are you still marrying him and starting a family? Does his ex-wife's wildly irrational stance on pure siblings impact your wedding plans in any way? Or at what point in your honeymoon or during your pregnancy would you prefer information about your new husband's ex-wife's stance on you? With that said, not the idiot. I feel for the husband because I've been caught in this position before. Sometimes a thing doesn't matter until it's too late. This week I had a minor examination at the hospital that required me to not eat for 24 hours before the test. My appointment was also delayed by 4 hours, so by the time it was done and by the time I got home, it was over 32 to 34 hours since I'd eaten anything. Because of this, I was very hungry and tired, so I decided to order some food. I asked my girlfriend if she wanted anything, but she said no. My girlfriend said she'd rather cook than order out, but I said I prefer a takeaway so we could just have separate meals. She said she'd rather we both cook, but I again refused and told her I was ordering food. I ordered the food and she decided not to cook and just said she didn't want anything. Once my food came, I was sitting eating when she came over and asked if she could have some. I asked if she was serious. I pointed out that I asked her multiple times if she wanted anything, and she waited for me to sit and enjoy my food to try and take it. I mentioned that I'd ordered exactly what I had because of how hungry I was, but she just said she was hungry too since she hadn't eaten. I mentioned that she hadn't eaten because I didn't want to cook for her, and that doesn't mean she could come and take my food instead. I said if she wants something to eat, she can either order herself something or cook it, but I'm not sharing what I ordered. She said I was being too selfish and that I had enough to share, so I should be fine sharing with her. She said she's not asking for much and I'm being unfair. Am I the idiot for refusing to share the food I ordered? You're not the idiot. Your girlfriend, on the other hand, is a lazy idiot. You gave her several opportunities to decide between ordering food like you were or cooking something for herself. She chose the latter and then changed her mind, expecting you to make up for her indecision and unwillingness, i.e. laziness to cook as she had originally decided. When you add to this that she knew you were recovering from a procedure in which you hadn't been able to eat beforehand and were very hungry, that makes her look even worse. The icing on the cake is when she accuses you of being the selfish one. That is really a poor attempt at gaslighting. If this is just one example of selfish, entitled behavior on her part, and there are many more and worse ones, please reevaluate this relationship. Obligatory Joey don't share food comment. Jesus, dude, you hadn't eaten for nearly 1.5 days and she told you multiple times that she didn't want anything before you ordered. I'd be famished, temperamental and hangry. Don't touch my food. And why didn't she cook before you came home? She probably knew you didn't eat for more than a day, so you'd be very hungry. Over 6 months ago, my 36 female husband, 37, asked for an open relationship after 14 years together. I didn't like the idea and it turned out he'd already started an affair with his co-worker. I tried to at least set some boundaries around what this open relationship would look like, but he violated every one. He then decided we would have a don't ask, don't tell open relationship. 2 months ago, he told me he wanted to divorce me for this other woman. We're still cohabiting for the time being and have yet to file for divorce for practical reasons. However, I've fully accepted it's happening. We'd been doing so amicably until last week. Shortly after my husband told me he wanted a divorce, I met someone unexpectedly. It's progressed into something romantic within the past couple of weeks, and nothing physical has happened yet, nor will anytime soon. I assumed my husband suspected something, but I wasn't about to bring it up since we were separated and he was with someone else. I was on this phone with this person, behind a locked door in my bedroom, when my husband barged in to ask about dinner. It was early afternoon and he already had dinner plans with our daughter. He must have been standing outside the door because he overheard some of the, admittedly spicy, conversation on the phone. He was furious with me and has mostly been giving me the silent treatment since. He was upset that I was having such a conversation while he and our daughter were in the house, though he's done the same with his girlfriend, that I'd moved on so fast, etc. I was really shocked by this. Not only did I think he already at least suspected and had seemed fine with it, but he doesn't want me anymore, so why is he upset that someone else does? He behaves as if, and seems to believe, on some level, that I'm cheating on him. I've never seen him so upset and I feel very bad. Have I done something wrong? Is he right to be so upset? Am I the idiot? Excuse me, you moved so fast? You? He went about his affair in a very strange and unethical way, and you do everything above board after he asks for a divorce, and you're the bad guy? Are you supposed to pine away for him in a convent for the rest of your life? What a douche. He's just upset because he didn't appreciate you and didn't think anyone else would want you. He thought he was special and deserved his AP, and you didn't appreciate him, in his own twisted mind, which is why he had to seek someone else. He's trying to guilt you for doing exactly what he's been doing. The difference is that you did it after he requested an open marriage and divorce. Make sure you find your own lawyer and start getting your own ducks in a row. Make sure his cheating butt is exposed to your family before he writes the narrative and makes you look like the bad guy. Talk to your lawyer first so that they can tell you how to handle telling the families. But remember, you are still legally married, so don't give him anything he could use in the divorce. Even in a no-fault divorce, he might use it just to help with his child support and alimony. Better safe than sorry. So if you can have some proof of his infidelity prior to your open relationship agreement, get it and keep it just in case. Don't let him make you feel bad. That's a power move. He should no longer hold that power over you. Good luck.